we're going to take a live look outside where you can see it is a very cloudy day in the Hollywood Hills. Rain moving in and out of the area today. The first of two storms is expected to move in today. So what can we expect for the rest of the week? We want to turn it over to meteorologist Paul Diano for your next weather forecast. Paul, you're going to be busy this week.
Hey, Christine. Yeah, we got a couple storms to talk about. This is storm number one. We made it clear that it's going to be the lighter storm and more scattered rainfall. That is what we're seeing out there. The problem will be storm number two that gets here tomorrow with an increased flooding potential tomorrow night. It's pouring right now and will be for the next, I'd say, 20 minutes or so in Santa Clarita. This has lifted out of the San Fernando Valley. So much drier in Simi Valley and Moore Park and Thousand Oaks and San Fernando and Sun Valley. But with things moving south to north, Santa Clarita, you got that rain for a while. And heads up Beaumont, Moreno Valley and Riverside. This rain down by Paris and Sun City is lifting from south to north and heading in your direction just before the lunch hour. Here's the view from Malibu. Even if you don't have the rain, and most of you don't right now, it's chilly, 53 degrees. Only 58 in Corona, 50 in Temecula, 47 degrees with that rain just moving through in Simi Valley. Burbank 50, downtown Los Angeles 58 degrees. Next weather forecast for downtown Los Angeles. Our rain wraps up around 2 o'clock. The storm is passing by to our south, so as it gets farther away from us, yeah, we'll keep the cloud cover and cool air, but this cloudy, no rain from mid-afternoon onward for downtown Los Angeles. No flooding threat today. That's tomorrow night. Inland Empire, only 57 this afternoon. The Antelope Valley will have a high of 55. In Los Angeles and Orange County, the metro area, only 59 degrees. So we are chilly, we are cloudy with occasional rain. Bigger storm is tomorrow. We'll take a look at what that means for us coming up. Christine, back to you.
Paul, thank you. Those two storms could cause more headaches for those living in the burn scars. The threat of debris flow and mudslides persists as homeowners continue to rebuild from the devastating wildfires. KCAL News reporter Luzdelia Caballero shows us how they're getting ready in Sierra Madre.
People here in Sierra Madre have prepared as much as they can ahead of the storm. And that's because we really just don't know how heavy this rain is going to get and what that's going to trigger. So for the time being, this is what we see a lot of on a lot of streets. So we see K-rails, we also see sandbags and even wood planks in front of homes to prevent that mud and debris flow from getting in. The last big storm triggered mudslides in this area. It was flowing down the hillsides onto streets, trapping cars and leaving just a big mess behind. This is something that folks here are preparing for. This is why residents in the Eaton Fire Burn area have definitely taken all of the precautions necessary and are looking to the hillsides as this rain continues coming down.
Obviously, mudslides for people living in the higher elevations, it's a concern, but this area is. You can tell as you look at the mountains that it's a dramatic change. There's not a lot of foliage up there, and so we're always concerned and just hopeful that the rain's going to be gentle.
Ahead of this storm, as with previous storms, the city has worked to put up K-rails, clear up debris, clean out catch basins, and make sure sandbags are available to residents in order to make sure the community is safe and ultimately prepared for the rain. And this storm is no exception. So people are vigilant, they are on high alert, and they are ready for things to change in a moment's notice. Reporting in Sierra Madre, Luzdelia Caballero, KCAL News.
And happening today, we're expecting to get an update on the Chiquita Canyon landfill. We're expecting that update later today. LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger has called for an analysis of potential cancer clusters in the communities surrounding the landfill in Castaic. The landfill closed back in January, but they're still trying to control the smell coming from the facility. Today, representatives from USC Health programs that monitor cancer trends are set to give an update at a community meeting. California Attorney General Rob Bonta and LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman announcing the arrest of 3 suspects. They're accused of trafficking fentanyl. The suspects are all facing felony charges, accused of possessing more than 50 pounds of fentanyl with an intent to sell. The street value of the drugs, $55 million. The suspects are also accused of being involved in cartel activity.
There's no telling how many lives would be tragically cut short and how many communities would have been devastated had these drugs been distributed. And thankfully, this time we won't have to find out.
The Downey Police Department also helped in that bust. Bonta said the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45 is fentanyl overdose. A series of walkouts are happening today to protest the arrest of a Palestinian protest leader from Columbia University. The Trump administration is attempting to deport that student and warn universities about anti-Semitism on campuses. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is at UCLA with reaction.
That walkout planned for the lunch hour here at UCLA by faculty and students. The Faculty for Justice in Palestine group posted online demanding the release of Mahmoud Khalil, the student arrested in New York. Students and advocates are saying his arrest was unlawful. You'll remember this on the campus here at UCLA as well as USC last spring. Demonstrations, protests against the war in Gaza, some of them becoming violent. Well, yesterday, hundreds gathered outside of Columbia University in New York City after Palestinian activist and graduate student Mahmoud Khalil was arrested by federal immigration agents at his apartment while with his pregnant wife. Khalil was an organizer and the face of the pro-Palestinian movement at Columbia last April. His attorney says federal agents were ordered to revoke his student visa despite Khalil being a green card holder. Late yesterday, a judge blocked Khalil's deportation. The Department of Homeland Security says Khalil's arrest follows the president's executive order prohibiting anti-Semitism on campus. The department claims Khalil led activities aligned with Hamas, a designated terror group. The LA Council on American Islamic Relations says Khalil and others like him are simply speaking up for Palestinian human rights. Just a short time ago this morning, House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke on the matter at a news conference. He's supporting Khalil's arrest.
I appreciate free speech. I used to defend it in courts, but this is far beyond the pale of that. When you are threatening your classmates and spewing anti-Semitism and all this hatred, it's enough.
We are now seeing an administration target people who are here lawfully simply based on the fact that they are expressing an opinion that the administration does not agree with.
And just yesterday, UCLA announced a new anti-Semitism initiative on campus, and several SoCal universities, including USC, Chapman, Pomona College, and Santa Monica College, received letters from the Department of Education saying they must protect Jewish students on campus or risk potential enforcement actions. Santa Monica College and USC have recently issued statements denouncing anti-Semitism. And the Anti-Defamation League says there should be severe consequences for those who support foreign terror organizations. They're also applauding what they call the Trump administration's bold efforts to eradicate anti-Semitism on college campuses. Of course, this will all continue throughout the day. Reporting at UCLA, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
Former California Congresswoman Katie Porter wants to be our state's next governor. The Democratic lawmaker represented Orange County for 3 terms. She joins a growing field of candidates looking to follow Gavin Newsom, who's terming out. They include former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. One more possible candidate, former Vice President Kamala Harris. She recently said she'll make a decision before the end of summer. And all eyes are on Wall Street after stocks took a nosedive yesterday. Here's a live look at the numbers today. The Dow is down sharply again, 390 points. Stocks are reacting to economic uncertainty as President Trump announced new tariffs on Canada today. KCAL News reporter Natalie Brand has a look at the sinking consumer confidence.
Stocks fell further at the start of trading Tuesday following Monday's sell-off, Wall Street's worst day so far this year.
On again, off again tariffs, retaliations, cuts at the government, and it is making people feel concerned enough that we could see the economy slow down.
As the White House downplays concerns over the market, President Trump raised the stakes Tuesday. He announced on social media he's doubling the tariff set to take effect tomorrow on Canadian steel and aluminum coming into the U.S. It will now be 50%. That's in response to Ontario's 25% retaliatory tax on electricity exports to the U.S. U.S. farmers and grocers describe a roller coaster as they brace for tariff impacts. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins acknowledged the concern.
Secretary, what's your message to farmers worried about tariffs, retaliatory tariffs, and the uncertainty?
The uncertainty is real, and the farmers and our ranchers are concerned. It's going to be a little bit bumpy for, maybe a few weeks or a few months, but at the end, his vision, and again, what we're effectuating is that our American farmers and ranchers, but truly all Americans, will be moving into an era of greater prosperity.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are trying to head off a partial government shutdown at the end of the week. Vice President J.D. Vance headed there this morning ahead of a critical House vote on a stopgap budget measure.
This clean CR contains no poison pill riders, no policy riders there at all, no cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, zero.
But with one GOP hardliner, Kentucky's Thomas Massie, already saying he's a no, the White House confirmed President Trump is making phone calls to potential holdouts. Natalie Brandt, KCAL News.
And a developing story, Ukraine says in a joint statement with the U.S. that it is open to a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. Representatives from the U.S. and Ukraine have been meeting in Saudi Arabia to discuss ending the 3-year-plus war. As more federal cuts come from the Trump administration, concerns are steadily growing here at home about how certain programs and departments will be affected. And that includes Metro, where leaders are still waiting on a response to a multi-billion-dollar request for Olympics transportation funds, as well as other money to improve and expand the city's rail lines. While Metro leaders say they haven't seen any effects yet, they're ready should anything change. The search for a missing spring breaker continues, the latest on the investigation into her disappearance. And Southwest Airlines is ending a key policy associated with their brand, the customer favorite that's going away. An all-out search is on right now for an American college student missing in the Dominican Republic. She was on spring break, and now CBS's Manuel Bojorquez says her family and friends are pushing for answers.
In the air, walking the beaches, and using canine teams, Dominican Republic officials say they are widening the urgent search for the University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Kunanki. Kunanki was last seen on the beach at the Rio Republica Hotel where she was staying in Punta Cana, a popular tourist resort town. A Dominican police source tells CBS News Kunanki and the 5 women she was traveling with went to the beach with 2 American men around 4:15 on March 6th. Later, her friends returned to the hotel while Kunanki and one of the men stayed behind. Investigators interviewed that man along with the others who were with Kunanki leading up to her disappearance. While the search continues, authorities are reviewing surveillance video and phone records. Kananke's parents also told local media the police have been helpful deploying drones and divers, but want the search to expand past the shore.
The president of the Dominican Republic has instructed that all necessary resources be devoted to this investigation, to include additional personnel if necessary and even specialized marine equipment. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
One of the best things Southwest Airlines has going for it is its free checked bags. I can attest to that. But that's coming to an end. CBS senior travel correspondent Chris Van Cleve tells us about the big changes coming to Southwest and why critics believe it could be the airline's downfall.
Pack all the things.
Bags fly free has been at the heart of Southwest Airlines. But just in time for summer, many checked bags will soon fly with a fee. Only Southwest's most elite A-list preferred flyers and those booking its priciest business select fares will get 2 free checked bags. A-list members, Southwest credit card holders, and select customers will get 1 free checked bag. Everyone else has to pay up.
We are watching an airline self-destruct.
Airline analyst Henry Hartevelt.
This is how you destroy a brand. This is how you destroy customer preference. This is how you destroy loyalty. And this, I think, is going to send Southwest into a financial tailspin.
The short answer is that it's about securing our future.
Southwest CEO Bob Jordan.
We are more than the logo on our planes. Our DNA isn't open seating or even bags fly free. It's a dedication to service.
But this was him last September. Will bags still fly free?
Bags will still fly free, yes. It's the third thing the customers look for after fare and schedule is bags fly free on us. 97% of people are aware of our policy, so it's a huge consumer advantage.
So as long as you're at Southwest, that's not going to change?
Well, never say never.
Southwest will also add a new discounted basic fare and is changing how frequent flyer points are earned and redeemed. Next year, it will drop open seating for seat assignments while adding extra legroom seats for an additional cost, as the airline looks to improve profitability after struggling post-pandemic.
Is the Southwest that people know and love dead?
Yes, this change is just so unlike Southwest, and it really is something that I worry could be far more financially damaging to the airline than helpful.
The check bag fee hasn't been announced, but a source says it will be competitively priced. Chris Van Cleve, KCAL News.
Well, now some good news for your wallet. The average cost of a dozen eggs has fallen by 25% since February. Late last month, eggs cost a little more than $8. And as of this morning, the average cost of eggs is around $6. The price of eggs was driven up by an outbreak of the bird flu last year, but the effects are still lingering. Some restaurants have added a surcharge for eggs. We'll keep an eye if those surcharges are removed as the prices fall. Giving back to their community, why the owner of a burger restaurant is serving up meals despite being closed. Plus, we'll be dealing with more wet weather for the next few days. The timing of each round of rain ahead. Andrew Arroyo, the 25-year-old customer who allegedly backed out of a deal in a way nobody expected, is expected in court today. Arroyo is accused of going on a rampage at the Inglewood CarMax Saturday after his vehicle was appraised. 8 people were injured, 2 critically. He eventually turned himself in. We will pass along the judge's decision after the proceedings end. And look at this. Thieves used a car to smash through the front gates of a cannabis lab in Gardena, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The break-in happened around 3 a.m. on Staff Court Lane, just off Compton Boulevard. Compton Sheriff's deputies say they're looking for at least 4 suspects. It's unclear how much was stolen. The wet weather may have contributed to this school bus colliding with a car in Fountain Valley this morning. It rolled over onto its side on Euclid Street and Talbert Avenue just after 7 a.m. Thankfully, no children were on board at the time. The bus driver did suffer minor injuries. An Altadena business is standing strong in the aftermath of the Eaton fire by giving back to the community. The owners of Fair Oaks Burger are feeding their neighbors, even though the physical restaurant has yet to reopen its doors. Janet and Christy Lee, who also lost their home to the fire, talked to KCAL Mornings about the frustrations of rebuilding while also giving back.
Everyone's still quite hopeful. I mean, it is trauma, I guess, and it's difficult, but I think seeing us and feeling a sense of normalcy is giving them a bit of comfort, but it is a bit frustrating and confusing to just go through all the process of trying to rebuild.
They also donated its parking lot for a weekly farmers market where anyone in need can pick up produce and clothes at no cost. That farmers market runs every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. One of the most unique theater productions in the world is held annually right here in Southern California. It's called the Pageant of the Masters, and the event has been happening for 90 years. Famous works of art are recreated using real people. This summer's production is called Gold Coast Treasures of California, and right now there's an open call for actors and volunteers.
But it is a full production. It has live orchestra music. It has a narrator who reads a script and a storyline live. It's very fun, unique, lots of surprises for the audiences, and it only happens 2 months out of the year.
Organizers are currently looking for cast members, makeup artists, and wardrobe help. No theater experience is necessary. The casting call is Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Irvine Bowl in Laguna Beach. And returning to your weather as we prepare for back-to-back storms, we're taking a live look outside in Santa Monica, and you can see some raindrops on the camera. Some wet weather just moved through there. We're going to turn it over to meteorologist Paul Diano for your next weather forecast. Paul.
Hey, Christine. Now, one of those days where it's going to come, then it's going to go, then it's going to come, then it's going to go. We're just going to have hit or miss showers throughout the afternoon. Rain now leaving the Santa Clarita Valley. Rain now approaching San Bernardino and the 10 between San Bernardino and Palm Springs, and some lighter showers hugging the LA coastline. Nothing too heavy, no flooding concern today, but it's just kind of it's a dreary day outside. It's a tomato soup kind of day. 54 degrees in Malibu. We're cloudy, we're drippy. Here's how much rain we now think will fall between right now and 4:30 on Friday morning, when the rain's pretty much wrapped up. Almost 2 inches of rainfall for the Inland Empire. 2.1 for San Bernardino, about 1.9 for Ontario. LA, about 1 1/3 inches. Same story for Long Beach, a little bit more for Northridge. Just know it's going to be likely wetter this week compared to last week, and the flooding threat will be higher. Today's highs, right around 60 degrees. Not that warm, not much sunshine, on and off, light rainfall. Inland Empire, the rain gets steadier tomorrow evening. The rain gets heavy tomorrow night. We have a front coming through, but then we get a couple days with on and off showers. Those would be Thursday and Friday before we dry out. Amazingly, again for the weekend, we sneak in 2 dry days. They're Saturday and Sunday again this week. For our valleys, chilly today, chilly tomorrow, flood watch tomorrow night. Scattered showers continue Thursday and Friday before we do likely dry out for the weekend. Christine, back to you.
I'll take a dry weekend. Thanks, Paul. And check this out. Crystal Light is on the verge of offering a hard alternative. The new alcoholic options will be a lower calorie alternative to hard seltzers and with less alcohol content. Crystal Light vodka refreshers will have 3.8% alcohol by volume and just 77 calories. The initial flavors are wild strawberry and lemonade with some carbonation. They hit store shelves starting this month. And thanks for watching KCAL News at 11:30. KCAL News at noon with Amy Johnson is up next.